Hey guys, want to do a quick review and maybe give a little bit of constructive criticism on the knife that I received from the Knife in the Hat project over on the custom project subforum at knifenetwork.com. This knife I received from knife maker Andrew Garrett, who is a fellow participant in the Knife in the Hat project. And just go ahead and pull it out of the sheath and give you guys a better look at it. Have a very attractive design. Very nice curves, very proportional, and overall I think he did a phenomenal job with this particular design, which, as I understand, he kind of freehanded from scratch. So definitely very impressed with that. I really like how the handle kind of curves out at the bottom, gives you a little bit more retention on the lower finger, and then you got a little bit more curving out at the top to kind of index your finger on and protect you from the blade there as well. But overall, definitely a very attractive design, very nice lines and curves, and like I said, a very proportional design as well. Really like how this knife looks. Now, as far as blade steel, I believe this came from an older bandsaw blade, possibly L6 or something similar. But it definitely holds a very nice edge. This is extremely sharp, definitely hair-popping sharp, sails through cardboard, paper, rope, and everything else I've thrown at it so far. The handles, I'm not sure he knew exactly what type this was. It's kind of a jade green, almost like a micarta or a G10, maybe a little bit closer to G10. But definitely a very nice looking handle material, and this probably won't show up well on camera. If I can get some decent light. But it does even have a little bit of grain to it, where you can see the layers as it's being shaped. As for the pins, got a little bit of brass there, which accentuates it very nicely. And overall, definitely did a very nice job on material and design selection. Now, as for the sheath, got a little bit of I don't know if that's coyote brown or kind of a greenish brown kydex. Definitely fits the knife, matches well, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. Like I said, very sharp little knife, very functional despite its size. This is probably on the smaller end of the spectrum for a neck knife, but that definitely seems to be a growing trend these days, as smaller knives are a little bit lighter in weight, a little bit easier to carry, and still make very effective backup blades, as this blade is definitely no smaller than maybe a smaller blade on like a Stockman folder or something similar like that. So definitely a functional little blade, razor sharp, very sharp point, and has a lot of belly on it as well. Just a phenomenal amount of belly there. So definitely very functional and practical. And you can definitely get some nice leverage there with the thumb, even a little bit with the forefinger for detail work. So as far as design goes, I think he definitely hit a home run. And I think it'd be a shame if he didn't make a few more like this. And what I would actually like to see, I think would be pretty neat, is if he made possibly a larger one, maybe a four-finger design, a little bit longer, keeping kind of with this proportion. I think that would really be quite the hit. Probably get a lot of people wanting one. So definitely a nice little blade. Did a very nice job on the fit and finish. It's got a nice, I believe it's a hand sanded or hand polished satin finish. Kind of goes along the length of the blade. I'm not sure how he sharpened this, if he used a jig or a fixture or some kind of a sharpening system, but definitely could not have done a better job. Very even, very sharp, very nice angles and geometry on the edge grind. So just give you a kind of a better look overall. Apologize for the lighting, hopefully it doesn't show up too bad. But moving on to a little bit of constructive criticism. I in no way mean to offend the maker, as he's obviously Got some extraordinary talent, especially being able to make a smaller blade like this, which is, in my opinion, actually harder than maybe a larger or a medium-sized blade, just due to how tiny everything is, trying to get those details just right. I think he did a phenomenal job on that, definitely with shaping the handles. Everything's very symmetrical, very well rounded, very comfortable, and the fit and finish is just phenomenal on this blade. But the only areas of constructive criticism I can really point out, and I do so reluctantly, would maybe be the areas around the pins. Look to be a little discolored. I'm assuming that maybe these got a little bit overheated when blending them into the handle, which, by the way, he did a very nice job of. Perfectly flush. You can't even feel them. Very well done there, but looks like maybe they did get a little bit overheated and discolored the area immediately around the pins. Not a huge deal for me. Does not take away from the knife, really hardly at all for me. Definitely not with the function, but just something I thought I'd point out. The only other thing as far as the knife itself, looks like there's maybe a little bit of a slip up on that plunge line. See a little bit of a dimple there towards the end. That could actually probably be buffed, or not buffed out, but just kind of touched up a little bit and removed. But almost unnoticeable, probably by anybody but me. Did a very nice job though overall, and especially on this side, it's just perfect. So very impressed with that. Just some minor critique there. And probably the larger part of my criticism is going to have to come to the sheath, which I think he admitted to not being completely happy with as well. You can kind of see this looks like it was maybe molded on a flat table, maybe with a piece of foam or something pressed over the top of the knife. So you have a flat back, but only a partially shaped top. And what that does, it just doesn't give a whole lot of surface area to grab the knife like it would had it been formed on both sides. So I may actually even heat this up, put it in my press, and kind of shape it all the way around the knife. Or I may not, just to keep the integrity of the original maker and what he sent me. But just one other thing I would mention on the sheath. I would probably maybe add an extra set of eyelets up towards the ricasso or the handle area. Maybe do even a triangle, like one down here and the two up here, rather than putting them down towards the middle of the blade or the end of the blade, because as you can see, it leaves a lot of room for this to spread apart quite easily, and just really doesn't give a whole lot of tension or retention on the knife blade. Now the knife does fit in there quite well. There's really not a whole lot of play from side to side at all, but I'm not sure I'd quite trust it. Although it does have pretty good retention, I think it would possibly maybe work its way out over time, just walking, running around, things like that. I'm not sure I would trust it to hang upside down, as if it moved out just a little bit, it would continue falling out. So maybe one way to remedy that, like I said, put the eyelets a little closer to the top, and then put one or two down at the bottom, just to keep the tension on the blade. But also try to shape both sides. Maybe get some PVC foam, make yourself a press, heat both pieces and press them together. So that's really my only criticisms as far as the sheath. Definitely did a very nice job overall. And the thing I'm impressed most with the sheath is definitely these eyelets. Looks like maybe he had a nice eyelet die or some kind of press. Did a very nice job on those. I really like the sliding knots on the neck lanyard. And overall, just a really nice little package. Very functional knife. So very happy with it. This is definitely going to find a nice spot in my collection. I may even see some use, maybe if I do choose to modify that sheath there. But I would definitely like to see the maker make a few more of these, maybe even in a larger size. And definitely appreciate him participating and sending this to me. So thanks, Andrew. Did a great job. Hope you enjoy the video.